Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the final episode of the year of The Left Wing. I am TJ Whitehead. Power is taken, not given. Joined as always by John Cooper of Counterpoint Politics and special fill-in guest for the day, EK Powell of What's Good English. What's going on, man?
I'm back.
Long time no see, EK.
Yeah.
EK joined us for a special episode over the weekend where we talked about his experience in the healthcare industry. And that was a pretty good time. At least it was for me.
Yeah, it's like trudging up old memories. I had like almost I had an extended version of that conversation like a little bit later that day because some friends came over to like my roommate does this whole little model building thing. So I started going through the history or my history of Medicare employment with them too, just like railing on insurance companies and their policies. All bullshit.
It is pretty nuts. So we got a hell of a show planned for you today. We got a lot to go over. John, what should we talk about first?
Oh God, there's so much. So today, well, we should end with the
of course
2024 awards. We'll be doing a little Left Wing award show here, so stay tuned for that. We're also going to be talking some AOC getting rat fucked by a dumbass Democratic Party. Honestly, I think that's where I want to start today.
Okay, let's go.
We're going to be talking some debt ceiling because that's been the big drama of the past 48 hours. And we're going to be talking a little, what was even our last...
It was...
I'm completely forgetting right now.
It was...
the TikTok ban.
TikTok ban, yeah.
Honestly, you know what? Let's start with that because that's probably the least related to the other two. Since we are all TikTok creators here, this very rarely do we get to talk about topics that are going to directly impact us, and what we do in our everyday lives. I'm going to tell you guys, when it comes to the TikTok ban, this entire time I've assumed it's not going to happen. Partially for my own mental health, because if I was worried about this thing that I've spent years building just disappearing one day, that would fuck me. But it's just there's, in my opinion, too much money in the TikTok game for it to actually go away. Might they force a sale? Maybe. I just can't imagine it actually not existing. And if that happens, what the ramifications of it will be. I don't know. EK, we'll start with you. Do you think TikTok will actually go away here? Because I guess the story that we are going to be talking about is that SCOTUS has agreed to hear it. But, it's still kind of, I don't know. Like, nothing official has been done one way or the other.
I think there's a chance that it goes away. I mean, I've been indifferent to the TikTok ban from the start, because we're all TikTok creators here. We're all left-wing TikTok creators here. We've seen how the algorithm doesn't really like to engage with certain types of content, which is the type of content that we engage in. We've seen how the algorithm promotes some people and not other people. Like the whole time I've been like, hey, you know what? I don't want it to get banned, but if it does, it fucking deserves it. So that's basically the way that I've felt about it. I mean, it's there's a few other things to talk about that barely anybody mentions, is that while the United States does have a rather large TikTok or a rather large audience with TikTok, is what 170 million users or something like that is the number that they keep throwing out, but that's 20% of TikTok's actual user base or something like that. It's not that significant. I mean, there's a ton of advertising here, there's a ton of ad revenue that they make here. Nobody wants those US dollars to go away, but at the same time, we're not their only meal ticket. So it could very well go away. We have a similar law in the United States to where we would stop Elon Musk from selling Twitter, to another to be completely owned by some other country or whatever. We would stop, I can't remember anybody's names now. Meta dude, Zuckerberg. We would stop Zuckerberg from, selling Instagram or selling Facebook, to another country. So it's like, oh, well, China, you have to sell us your thing because it's popular with our people. I mean, that's fucking unheard of. So like it's like, I don't know, at the at the end of the day, I'm just kind of indifferent about it. I did see I saw one video from Francesca Ramsey where she talked about like Vine. If like you guys remember Vine at all? Yeah, so like Vine went away. Like there were just like tons of creators out there that were really popular on Vine, and then all of a sudden that platform was gone. And what you also noticed was like some people that did really well on Vine weren't able to transition to do the same thing on other platforms. Like there are, you know, TikTok is the most like Vine, but like those Vine creators like that were big on that app didn't really do well on Vine. They didn't do well on YouTube. They didn't do well on Instagram. Like they just kind of disappeared. And like with
one TikTok very annoying exception.
Yeah. But what TikTok has is that algorithm where, you know, it can like bring to the forefront people who would normally not get discovered. I mean, like it was insanely difficult for me to build 1,000 followers, 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. Like that was fucking so difficult. And I did it in like a few weeks on TikTok. Like, you know, it was so easy to get discovered. It was so easy to build an audience, which I think is what everybody wants, which is what Francesca was saying. I completely agree with. Like, but I would like to see like people actually work for it a little while. Like, so my indifference and my anger and my spite.
Oh, no. Did you say that all the Vine people disappeared? And John, did you say with one notable exception? Is that what you said, John?
Yes.
Was that Logan Paul?
Is that what actually, I was saying Jake Paul, but you know what?
Oh, either, yeah, okay, yeah. Two of them. Yeah. So, yeah.
Is Logan still alive? Does he do stuff? I never hear about Logan Paul anymore.
I don't know. I know Jake Paul does the boxing, but I thought Logan Paul did the boxing too. I don't know. Maybe. I'm confused. Yeah, but who knows that these guys. Logan Paul, the last, like, it wasn't the last time I heard about Logan Paul. I definitely heard about him later. But do you remember when he went to Japan to the
suicide forest?
Yeah, yikes, man. But then again, he didn't really pay a price for it. He still stayed incredibly popular and rich. And there's just no detriment to shame anymore. We'll get to that later, folks. It's a little tease. But EK, what you're talking about there, I was thinking about, in the back of my mind, I never really thought it'd be gone either. I just assumed that they'd find some sort of fix like they always did, but who knows, they might go away this time. And if it does, I saw that video too, talking about, you know, Vine creators and how they disappeared for the most part. And it was mainly because of the way Vine was structured. Vine was, 7 seconds? It was like 7-second videos or something like that. That's very niche. There's no other outlet like that. TikTok is the closest thing to it. But even TikTok, you can upload, I think, an hour-long videos now on TikTok. And why?
Yeah, you can now,
Why?
Why imagine watching a TikTok for an hour?
Right? I mean, an exceptionally good TikTok I'll watch for 5 minutes, but it's got to be amazing. And they don't even usually make it to you if they're that long. So I started thinking about if TikTok goes away, what's going to happen to a lot of these folks? Because you're absolutely right, EK. Some of these folks stumbled onto it and got lucky and caught fire because it was the pandemic in 2020, and a lot of people were just making content. And a few of them got lucky and stuff. But especially those in our field, if you make political content on TikTok, you better be good. Your ass better be good. You can't get up there and then just start pontificating about these complex issues. They will swipe real quick. But if we really wanted to cash in and really make it, we could do things on TikTok like, you know, couple sketch comedy, you know, where they have those ridiculous videos where they like girlfriends and boyfriends prank each other, pretend the camera's not there. And for some reason that gets millions of views, no idea how. And, or conspiracy talk, just, start going on the wildest conspiracy you can think of, or cat videos. Those could make you tons of money on TikTok, and that's going to hurt those folks. They got nowhere to go. TikTok leaves nowhere to go because that it takes no talent whatsoever. And a lot of people built a following on that. So like folks like us, we'll be fine. We can, it's a lot harder other venues, but it's kind of like, what's the guy from the Red Hot Chili Peppers? His name's Tom Morello, I think.
No,
I saw him.
That's Rage.
Oh, the Rage Against the Machine. Okay, yeah. So Rage Against the Machine, Tom Morello, and he was talking about socialism and how he wanted to live in a socialist structure. And Bill Maher was saying, well, in socialism, you wouldn't be as rich as you are. You'd have to distribute a lot of your wealth. And he says, listen, Bill, there's folks that are talented enough that we're going to thrive in any society. That's me. I'm one of those guys. I'm going to be okay. Folks, we're going to be fine. That's how I see it. Like if TikTok goes away, the three of us, other people out there, we're going to be fine. Worry about the couple's goofy sketch comedy. They're going to be suffering, but we'll be all right.
You have no idea how many times I've considered TJ of like making couples goofy sketch comedy as content and then just like putting a fucking Marxist slogan at the end of it and calling it a fucking day.
That would be good. That'd at least be interesting.
I've been trying to like think of different ways to explain because I'm also like, hey, I don't know if TikTok's going away. I don't know if this format that it raised me to because what EK said is very true is that TikTok of all the platforms does give you the best chance of being discovered by an audience. The inverse of that is that it also gives you the biggest droughts. Like right now, I'm in TikTok jail. My videos are getting. I'm lucky if they break 1,000 right now. My past couple, and it's like it's insane because like a month ago they're hitting 1 million. Like, and it is insane how that works. The shit that does to your mental health if you like actually care about it or rely on it for your fucking financial stability must be insane for people. But that's the other thing with TikTok is it easily pays the most. YouTube pays the most.
YouTube pays the most.
To build. Like YouTube's the hardest to build. If you build on YouTube, you fucking deserve that money. You know, and we've all been trying. It's not easy. But like, TikTok's the only one that fucking pays me. Not that it pays me much, but like at least it pays me. Unlike some Zuckerberg-owned fucking product that specifically deprioritize our content. But it will. I will be very upset if it goes away. I don't know if I'll be angry because it'll probably be with at that point. But like,
sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Also, TikTok's just a good app to for entertainment value. Like, what are you going to go to? I was watching the Head in the Office guys talk about this on their show. And they said, what do we do now? Go to Instagram Reels? That sucks. That's nowhere near as fun as TikTok. And YouTube Shorts is even worse. You're just going through there. And also, they brought up a great point that it was Gage. Gage brought this up on the show. And he said that the major difference between TikTok and YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels, specifically YouTube Shorts is that TikTok, you build like communities there. You see a TikTok you like and you tag your friends in it. Nobody's doing that on YouTube Shorts. It's not happening. There's no community being built there like in TikTok. So I will miss that because there's like a camaraderie. Not just maybe I feel it more because I'm a content creator. Maybe it's that, but I think that I just had more fun going through. TikTok's algorithm is just better than everybody else's. That's the real reason the U.S. government's mad, by the way. They're mad that TikTok is doing so well. And what I really resent is the fact that the government, like all these people in Congress and the president, they're saying, listen, we got to ban TikTok and make the Chinese sell it to an American because it is not right that Chinese billionaires are stealing all of your data. Only American billionaires get to do that. That's what's going on. They say, they're doing some really shady stuff. If you knew, you'd be terrified. Tell us. If it's so bad, let us know. Other than this nebulous, spooky boogeyman shit, buddy, if you knew what I knew, you'd be so scared. No, let me know. I want to be scared. Justify this absurd action you're taking here. I don't get it.
I was like, you gotta give me a little taste, man. You don't gotta show me the whole foot. Can I get like the side of the foot so I can tell like what it looks like?
It is. Oh, hold on. Hugh Jass commented, Vine was 6 seconds, flagged for misinformation. Well, folks, it's been a good run. I may not be around too much longer, but sorry, it was 6. I knew it was short. I know exactly. It's been a long time since Vine's been here. But no, so EK, last time we were talking about this on Tuesday was that Donald Trump has come out, of all people, saying that he has a soft spot for TikTok. And, I'd like it to stick around. And then it was the next day. The next day, Supreme Court said, all right, we'll hear it early. We're going to hear this. We're going to expedite this case, which apparently is something they can do. They could have done it at any time to lots of other cases and said, not only because they could have just said, no, we're not going to hear it. We're going to let the appellate court ruling stand. We're not even going to bother hearing it. So no, we'll hear what they have to say after he met with the president of TikTok. So look, if Trump proves, or even whether he does it or not, if he if he presents himself as influential in rescuing TikTok, I think that's just another black eye for the Democrats to make them. It's going to make them look even worse than they do now and make Trump look even better. I hate it.
Yeah, I was saying the whole time during the election, like it's going to be so wild after so many content creators do all this work trying to get Kamala elected to just to have her ban TikTok when the ban comes through. Like, unfortunately, that didn't happen because she's not going to be around to ban TikTok. But well, I guess no, she had to give a percentage fee, didn't she? Yeah, she can't even ban TikTok anymore, guys.
TikTok anymore.
That's the thing. Like, it'll be because this hearing is being held before the Trump presidency. It is so it is the Biden administration Justice Department arguing before the Supreme Court to ban TikTok. It is Donald Trump. It's the Supreme Court hearing it. It's ByteDance defending themselves, but like. It's Donald Trump on the other side of the political aisle fighting for TikTok. I don't understand. I don't understand the Biden administration not just spiking the football and going, you know what? You should overrule this ban. It was dumb in the first place. Take the credit. It's going to happen anyway, bro. If the Supreme, what do you get if the TikTok ban goes through? What actual benefit does the Biden administration, do Democrats get if this TikTok ban goes through? It doesn't matter anymore. You can't use it to fight fucking anti-Israel sentiment. You're out. You're done. It's not going to hurt you anymore. Just don't let
kids
Donald
already
Trump
call you genocide.
W. Like, just take it from him. It'll piss him off. And you know, like, oh, actually, no, that's actually because then he's just gonna ban it.
No, but that's it. Make him ban it. If that's the case, like if you're stuck with the option, like whatever the options are, the option that goes through now, I'm gonna be the one responsible for banning TikTok. And I was trying to say this to folks on TikTok. And everyone loved to come back and says, this was a Republican-sponsored bill from the House that was controlled by Republicans. Checkmate. Great. It's a Democrat-controlled Senate signed by Democrat president. Which one do you think the American people are going to give a fuck about? They're going to care about the president. That's the only one that they're going to know. They're going to think, oh, Joe Biden signed the bill, which he did, so he's responsible for it. The buck stops with him. It doesn't stop with the Speaker of the House. So then you either have TikTok ban go through and the people remember you as the guy who banned TikTok, or you say, well, this was a mistake. Even if the court says they're going to keep the ban, I'm going to direct my Department of Justice not to enforce the TikTok ban, which he can do. He can, like, the executive branch executes the laws. So he says, all right, don't enforce it. Make Trump become president and say, okay, I'm going to ban TikTok. Are they addicted? Are they allergic to good politics? Or to good optics at least. I don't understand at all.
Because that's the thing, TJ. They haven't like, if this was a thing where it's actually impacting national security, they would have evidence for that. They have not. That's the entire case before the Supreme Court right now that ByteDance is making. Is every piece of evidence that the Justice Department has presented is just that TikTok could pose a potential national security threat in a hypothetical future, but we have no evidence that anything has been done wrong yet, which, basic freedom of speech, bro. And we've talked about this before. Freedom of speech can't only apply to Americans if you think it's a human right. Like, if you think freedom of speech is a human right, then Chinese people deserve it too, motherfucker. Like, they deserve it equally to me and you. You can't, like, be saying, hey, yeah, those Chinese people, they can't have the same freedom of speech that Mark Zuckerberg gets. That doesn't make any sense. But that's the position of the Democratic Party. It is absolutely insane that I have to be sitting here on the same side of this fight as Donald Trump. I really fucking hate it. Well, it's not my fucking fault. My values on this has remained the same the entire fucking time.
John, I got bad news for you. It's going to happen again later on in the show. There's going to be another thing.
It's very upsetting, TJ.
Yes,
I got some even bigger fucking haymakers.
I know, yeah. Also, it's a good point where you talked about the national security threat and everything that they're putting towards Congress. I'll do you one better. If the national security threat was as strong as they say it is, it would have already happened. They would have shut it down immediately. It kind of reminds me of like when pilots tell you to turn off your cell phones on a plane. And I thought, look, if me being on my phone could crash this plane, you wouldn't allow phones on the plane. Why would you take that risk? And so I never bought that. That's how I feel about the TikTok thing. That if they thought, when did this bill pass? Like March of this year, that there are millions of people who are potential avenues for Chinese national security threats, you would have ended that day. If there would have been, with the Patriot Act, all the stuff we got, there's no chance they would let 170 million potential spies run around. So no, it's a really weak argument, and I don't know. I hope it does stick around, but it is what it is. Let's see.
Welcome everyone, by the way. Seeing a bunch of people in the comments section.
Yes.
I do want to know. I'm now so invested in Kyle's love life. For anyone who wasn't here on Tuesday during our Q&A show, we were giving some advice on how to get Kyle laid at a gay bar. So two straight men. So that was a roaring good time, wasn't it, TJ?
Well, it was, but two straight men, and I'm pretty sure this applies to you, John, who have been hit on by gay guys their entire life. So I mean, maybe we were a good place to come to because this worked for us. I don't know.
TJ, that's actually a great point, Kyle. The best way to get with gay men is to make pro LGBT Instagram and TikTok content. You're gonna get a lot of gay dudes in your DMs. Trust me.
So that's funny. So I didn't think about that. That's true, but I was talking about a long time ago, like when I was 17, 18, 19, like long before the days of social media and stuff. So I don't know, be a young, good-looking guy. That'll help out a lot too. Let's see. TJ with the stiff upper lip, he sunk. Power was taken. TikTok true crime is wild. True crime is good. True crime is. I actually don't listen to too much on true crime on TikTok. I don't know. It's probably good too because it's hard to fuck up that that category.
But it's also probably very bad in the sense that like it's got to be complete bullshit most of the time. Like because true crime is already bullshit, and then you add like the incentive structure of TikTok into that, and it's got to be pretty fucking bad.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
The genre as a whole.
What's your take on true crime, EK?
It's just like, why are we sensationalizing like and obsessing over like this violence, like these murders, whatever? It's like,
what murder?
No, I mean, like I think that energy is just spent on better stuff. Okay, so at one point this year, there were like 2 or 3 different Menendez brothers like things that like on Netflix at the same time. There was the Menendez Brothers show, like which is by the guy who does like American Horror Story and what's his name? Ryan Johnson.
Ryan Murphy.
Is the guy, or Ryan Murphy, yeah, like that guy. Like, and there was a Menendez brother documentary that was just going like at the same time, and I'm just like, dude, why are we just drudging up all like that case is closed? We know the shit. Or like, why do we have to keep on retreading and like trying to speculate over like all of the shit that happened and didn't happen? It also gets like regular people in trouble. Like I was watching like some YouTube video about like some girl that like died at whatever that big hotel is. It's like on Skid Row in California. And anyway, it's like there was like this Mexican like grunge artist or whatever that like stayed at the hotel at the same time, and like he had like a really his whole aesthetic was like death and murder and everything. Mm-hmm. And people were like, oh, this guy definitely killed her. You need to investigate that. And like it fucked with his life. Like he had absolutely zero connection. Like I think they even went back to the records of the hotel and found out he wasn't even staying at that hotel at the same time as the girl that died. But like it's just like I mean, I don't want to be the dude that's on the armchair like your time is better spent on something else. But like it's just like, why murder? Like, can we be on something else, dude? Like the other thing is like murder doesn't happen that often, like, but we just like it's such a shock like when it happens that we just obsess over it like we do. Like you turn on the TV and like it's always like some damn cop show trying to solve this crime that's like this like these people got killed by somebody. It's the same shit over and over. It's like real life isn't like that.
We can always Go ahead.
I want to agree with you, but I would be throwing stones in a glass house because we've spent the past 2 weeks obsessing over a single murder. So
look, we can always count on EK for like a banger 3-minute rant like all the time. I was not expecting Grandpa EK to come out here. I can't believe you guys are watching murder shows. Like, no, that's funny. I mean,
just in general, like really analyze the different TV shows that you watch. How many of them are just detective in like a funny costume, or detective but I'm actually dead. I'm a detective but I'm the devil. I'm a detective but but my partner is dead. I'm a detective but we're all ghosts. I'm a detective but I'm also a woman.
I'm also a woman.
I'm a detective and I dress as a bat. I mean, yeah, that's a lot of our content. Yeah, it's true. I'm glad you brought, because I was telling John about that show Lucifer, where Lucifer works as a detective that solves murders. Ridiculous premise, fun show. But no, I know I think that's not going away because people are fascinated with death and murder. It's just not. I don't think there's any way that we're getting out of that. It's like horror films and horror shows are a good way to access that, or amusement parks. Just anything that reminds you of death, reminds you that you're alive. And hearing about people that actually commit crimes is kind of fun, because secretly we all want to commit a lot of crimes and we don't because we'll get caught and it's illegal. And well, actually, I've long said that the cops should keep under the lid the actual stats for crime rates and everything. It's something like, when I was in college, I took Gen Psych and I learned that 30% of all murders go unsolved. I was floored by that number. This was in 2002, maybe 2003. These days, it's like 55% of murders go unsolved. It's gotten even worse. It's like, so listen, murder is wrong and it's bad. No one should do it, but your odds are pretty good. And like, their odds are pretty good. Listen, if someone murders a stranger, almost impossible to catch them. If there's no connection, or someone who ripped you off at your health insurance, if there's no connection between you and the person that you're murdering, the cops have no fucking idea what to do.
If Luigi hadn't wanted to get caught, he would not have gotten
caught.
Would not have gotten caught.
And that's what we weren't planning to talk about Luigi today, but fuck, it's the end of the year. But also, if Luigi didn't want to get caught, he wouldn't have shot him in broad daylight, right? Like, I think he would have. He could have found a way to do this under cover of darkness. It's December. It's dark like 80% of the day. He had to go out of his way to shoot this guy in the sunlight. So I don't know. It's just pretty odd. But yeah, I'm sorry, EK. I don't think murder shows are going anywhere anytime soon. There's more comments than I can read. Should we move on to? Oh, you know what? We should move to the debt ceiling.
Yes, we should move to the debt ceiling. Do appreciate the comments. We never have time to get to them on our Thursday show because we like to talk about specific topics. But if you want to chat with us on Tuesdays, we will be here 6:30 EST. TJ, so there has been a huge kerfuffle. It seems like the past 2 weeks, a lot of nothing has happened. We have a Lincoln presidency. There was, the one big thing with Luigi and the shooting, but nothing else really going on. We've actually been struggling to find topics for the show. And then this week, it was like, oh my God, there's like a smorgasbord of topics to pick from. And the biggest one that has been getting the most attention has been the debt ceiling debate. And there's been like 8 different stories in this story in the past 48 hours alone. Because we had a deal to a spending deal to push this down the road like we always do every single time, right? But then, not Donald Trump. I want to make this very, very clear. Donald Trump didn't say shit. Elon Musk goes on a Twitter tirade, hundreds of tweets. I think it was like 120 tweets.
Wow,
he made to say that the spending bill should be torpedoed. And then it wasn't until like the afternoon that Donald Trump and JD Vance co-signed this. But it was Elon Musk who really torpedoed the spending bill, which got shut down by Republicans afterwards once Donald Trump said that it should be gone. And now we don't know. I swear to God, the government's getting shut down. Like there's really nowhere to go forward from here because the Republicans are putting forward a plan that ain't going to get through. And the Democrats are saying hell no. And I actually like that they're literally using the terminology hell no. There's like still like 8 other facets of this story that we could talk about, but TJ, what has been catching your attention the most?
So what caught my attention, like it was hard to follow. A lot of it was because
it's a lot. It is a hell of a lot.
I'm not a clever man, but I'm at least average in my intelligence and knowledge of this stuff, and I was getting lost all the time. What jumped out to me today, most of all, was two things. Is that I like that the Democrats are finally doing some gamesmanship, and that I've seen a lot of them refer to Elon Musk as President Elon Musk. Have you seen this? Mm-hmm. Have you seen them? I've seen a lot.
I don't know if Bernie was the first one to do it, but he was the first one I saw, and it is scathingly brilliant. I rarely say this about Democratic messaging. President Elon Musk, you got to fucking start printing T-shirts.
Yes,
it's so good.
They need to flood the airwaves and the internet and all their messaging with President Elon Musk because it's perfect. Mm-hmm. One, it plays.
You recall, that worked with Trump and Bannon. Like when in 2017, it was like a few months into the presidency, and like everybody was saying that Steve Bannon was running Trump. I remember a political cartoon specifically that showed Trump on all fours with Steve Bannon riding him like a horse with like a little whip cracking, and like he expelled Bannon from his position. So like. It is an effective strategy.
Yeah, I don't remember that one with Bannon, but it's a good idea. And it plays particularly well with Elon Musk and Trump because it plays to Elon Musk's ego that, he can't be president of the United States because he wasn't born here, which is honestly kind of a dumb, outdated rule. I believe that, it's kind of stupid. Like, I get why they did it in 1789. They didn't want some, Spanish prince coming on over here and becoming president. I kind of got that, but now that rule is kind of outdated. But Elon Musk can't run for president, but it's going to appeal to his ego. He's going to feel flattered. Oh, look at that. They're recognizing the power that he actually has. But it's also going to insult Trump's ego, where Trump's like, I can't have people thinking Elon Musk is running the show. So it's going to drive a division between the two. There's no way it doesn't. If people keep bringing it up, you keep calling him that to his face and everything. The second thing that jumped out at me was the fact that earlier today, this afternoon, I saw Donald Trump called for the debt ceiling to be abolished. And I saw that on an NBC clip, and they were talking, I was like, yeah, I just got done with a phone interview with Donald Trump. And he said that, listen, the debt ceiling is an illusion. It's useless. It's stupid. It's a psychological trick. And that I think that it should go away. It's kind of halting progress. And I saw that, and I've said this plenty of times on the show, especially in the last month, that unfortunately, the only way good things are ever going to happen in this country is if Donald Trump happens to stumble onto the correct answer. That's the only way it's going to happen. If it comes from any Democrat, certainly it's going to be shut down as woke liberal bullshit. But if it comes from Donald Trump, people say, oh, this guy knows what he's talking about. And even if for those of you wondering, the debt ceiling, okay. The debt ceiling is when Trump referred to it as a psychological trick, he was absolutely right. Because when people hear the debt ceiling, that the Congress is refusing to raise the debt ceiling, it sounds responsible. It sounds like, oh, hey, good. Congress is lowering their spending amount. They're not. They've already decided their spending amount. They've already voted, hey, this is the bill that's due to the United States government. They just have a redundant vote saying, are we going to pay this bill? The answer is yes. Yes, they are. There's no reason to hold it whatsoever, except for the sole purpose of the Republicans shutting the government down whenever they damn well feel like it. And yeah, it's got to go. But I'm sad that it had to come to this, where we got to agree with Trump twice in one episode, but broken clocks, What do you think, EK?
Yeah, so have you ever read The Deficit Myth or
no.
any modern monetary theory stuff? Okay.
Yeah. I have not read that book, but I've read quite a bit of modern monetary theory stuff.
Yeah. So, I mean, basically, like what it's saying is like, so in the United States, we have a fiat currency. What that means is we are the sole controllers of our currency, right? Like it's not like tied to gold or any specific asset. Like we just say, hey, this is how much a dollar is worth. So like because of that, you can technically never run out of money because you just print more money. Like, you know, like if I owe, like if I have my own currency, like, and you do work for me and I pay you like in my own currency, I can really never owe you money. I can say I owe you money, but I can just snap my fingers and say, okay, the money that I owe you, that's now money. You have that money, whatever. Like the only real issue is if like if you put too much of your money out there and you don't tax it back enough, then you get like way crazy inflation. So I'm not mad if the deficit ceiling goes away, but like part of the issue is like with the whole modern monetary theory thing is, and this is like a lot of economists are probably just like fuming out of the ears right now. Like, but the thing is, like, it was kind of proven correct all throughout like 2020, because like it's basically saying you can just spend however the hell much money you want to spend on whatever program if it's worth it. Like, and you don't need to create some like special spending bill tax. You don't have to balance any budget, because like the government isn't like, you know, your pocketbook. The government isn't like a bank. You know, if I don't have $1,000, I can't spend money that I don't have. But the government has basically an infinite amount of money. You can just say, okay, there's more money out here. You also saw an example of this during the recession, when the government bailed out all of those banks, and everybody's like, oh, you know, that's taxpayer money. But like, they didn't send a truck full of money to all of these banks. Like, somebody just went into someone's account and they were like, okay, let's just give these people like X $1 million worth of money or whatever. So like the issue is, people don't want to spend money like on like actual programs like for the good of the people. Like, we could just fund universal health care like that. We could, you know, just fund like all types of housing programs like that, and just like we basically create those jobs. We tell those people, go out there, do these jobs, we'll pay you, we'll tax whatever back come next year to avoid inflation, whatever. Like, but you just have to like properly tax it back. The issue is nobody gets that particular part unless we're talking about the military budget. Because you will see at the end of every year, like some random representative will just like run in and be like, actually, the military budget needs another $50 million for this. And nobody's like, oh, how are we going to pay for that? Oh, what are we going to cut for that? Everybody's like, okay, another $50 million. We got you. Everybody understands it works in these narrow little circumstances. But like when it's, hey, we should give people health care, like, no, we can't do that. We can't do that. So yeah.
And long-winded answer. So, Econ, I'm glad you bring up modern monetary. I don't get to talk econ enough on this show, because we talk a lot about like, you know, more political stuff. Obviously, economics is political, but we tend to talk more about like how it affects, you know, interpersonal communication and messaging and all that sort of thing. But what you're saying is very true, and it's something that a lot of people don't understand. And so I'm going to explain it in terms that they will. Think about football, right? And the teams that do well. The teams that do well in football are ones, they'll sign a wide receiver to a huge contract, right? Because they know that in 5 years, and they'll put all the money towards the back end of the contract, because they know in 5 years when that money comes due, there's going to be a larger salary cap because it's going to keep growing. The teams that don't do that fail over and over and over again. And that's, in a nutshell, what we're talking about here. We know that the United States government is going to pay its fucking debts. It always fucking has. That's why the government at any time can tell the Treasury Department, hey, go sell some more fucking debt. And people buy up the debt. And then we got cash on hand to spend, because they know the U.S. government's going to pay its debts because we spend it on things that have a return on value. And it's not just, you know, people talk about like the Postal Service running at a deficit. No, it's not running at a deficit. It is creating more economic value than it costs to run by large margins. It generates more economic value. And as you said, as long as you tax that back, which is the problem with modern monetary theory, is that no one wants to fucking raise his taxes when times are good. Like, you have to under modern monetary theory. But as long as you end up growing the GDP, growing your tax base, yeah, you're going to always be able to spend this. If you actually ran the government at a surplus, that'd be the dumbest fucking thing in the world. No business does that, by the way. Like if you look at actual like successful businesses, they start by front loading a bunch of fucking debt, and then they use that to invest so that they can make more revenue in the future. And that is how the government should be run. And when we tie this back to the debt ceiling, it isn't that like the debt ceiling stops us from spending the money. We've already spent it. What the debt ceiling stops us from doing is paying the things that we bought, like people's salaries, like not the military, but teachers, like a bunch of things that we have already agreed to pay for that we owe no matter what. It just prevents us from getting the money required to pay those bills. And if you stop paying, it's like a company stopping paying its fucking payroll because they don't want to take on the debt in order to stay liquid. But like, if they don't take on that debt, then the whole company goes under. And that's the problem with the fucking debt ceiling. It's a nuclear bomb because when we don't pay those debts, suddenly the infinite money glitch ends because people are like, oh, we're not going to buy U.S. debt anymore because they're not going to pay it. And Trump is right. Trump's 100% right, TJ. When I saw that he said, let's get rid of the debt ceiling, it reminded me a lot. You like to talk about a lot, how when he was asked if women should be charged for abortion, like they should be blamed too, if they should go to prison, he's like, yeah, of course. Yeah. Why? And because he wasn't given the notes on how Republicans are supposed to talk about these things. He wasn't given the notes about how they're supposed to talk about the debt ceiling. He's like, yeah, this is dumb. This is so clearly and obviously dumb. And I'm like, yeah, no, Trump, you got that right. This is dumb. It has been dumb. And I'm very upset that the Democrats aren't fucking like calling him on it, because we have about, I don't know, 5 days before Fox News convinces him that we need the debt ceiling. We could get rid of it right now, right fucking now. If we could partner with him and get rid of it easily.
I saw someone said that, Elizabeth Warren. That's who it was. I saw Elizabeth Warren say, listen, I would be glad to work with Donald Trump in abolishing debt ceiling. So I saw at least one person say that, and they should all be.
Hakeem Jeffries said hell no. So
did he? Wow, really? I have a Hakeem Jeffries clip, actually. Fuck it, I'll do it right now since you brought him up. I don't think we'll bring him up again. But Hakeem Jeff, this isn't necessarily it's about the debt ceiling thing, but it's the Republicans crafted a new bill, like a resolution to extend it, and Hakeem Jeffries and the Democrats said no, we don't like the bill. And Hakeem Jeffries was talking about it, and he said something that's bugged me for a long time, and I can't believe that people are still saying it, but you guys will catch it, I'm sure.
The Musk-Johnson proposal is not serious. It's laughable. Extreme MAGA Republicans are driving us to a government shutdown.
All right, so I don't know if you guys caught it right there, but it's the extreme MAGA Republican thing. I can't stand when they say that. Like, no, it's just Republicans, people. It's just Republicans. Why are we? Because that was the mistake they made with Donald Trump by separating Trump from the Republican Party and making him seem like an actual outsider. I really kind of hated that. But no, the whole debt ceiling thing, like, we don't want to make this whole show about about finance and everything like that. But no, it's like, EK, you were talking about, that's the example I use all the time when you said your own currency. Because people always talk about, libertarians love this, that we are $30 trillion in debt, as if it fucking matters. Please tell me one negative thing that's happened because we're $30 trillion in debt versus when we were $15 trillion in debt. It's the same fucking system. It doesn't affect anything at all. And most of the debt is owed to ourselves. It's owed to American corporations, American citizens, and other countries have if they have a lot of debt invested into us, they're not going to call us on the bill and say hand over $1 trillion, and because they have a high interest in making sure that our economy is stable, they don't want to wreck it like that. And if they forced our hand, like EK said, the money that we have is not backed by gold, silver, platinum. It is a dollar's worth a dollar because Uncle Sam says so, and that scares people. I call those people idiots because they don't know that fiat currency is a good idea. And like you said, because they said, well, it's not based on anything objective. The price of gold is not objective either. There's nothing objective about this.
Entirely speculative.
Entirely speculative. Yeah. Gold has value because it's pretty. and it's easy to mold. That is the primary value. We go, sure, it's got value.
That's the difference, DJ. It's speculative, but you don't actually control the speculation. It's worse by so many metrics.
Yeah, gold does have some practical uses in like electronics and stuff, but for the most part, it's used because it's pretty. That is, you're gonna base your money on beauty. I don't like that. Okay, the U.S. dollar has value because the United States government only accepts tax payments in U.S. dollars. You can't pay them in anything else. So as long as the U.S. government exists, the dollar is going to have value. So you know what? If they really call us on it, you could print $1 trillion, or you could just the $1 trillion coin. Like, hey, it's $1 trillion coin. Boom, there you go, $1 trillion. Have fun with it. Debt gone. You could just do that. So I don't know, like money isn't
I want
real.
The $1 trillion coin so fucking.
The $1 trillion coin is so funny because I see why governments don't talk about this much, because it does make people uneasy. Like, oh my God, this is just, it's all a fantasy. Yes, because money's not real. It's not real. That's why it's so upset. That's honestly probably, I don't know about you two, it's why I am a stone socialist on this, because money, like people will say, well, who are you to say how much money one person can and can't have? I'll tell you who the fuck I am. I am a member of the human race, the same human race that created money out of thin fucking air. It's not something that exists in nature. It's not necessary for shelter or food. It's only there because we conjured it up. So we get to decide how this is used. We get to decide how this is spread and used throughout the population. And it's insane that people are dying because they don't have enough of this imaginary substance.
Yeah. I agree with that, DJ. Okay. The one thing I will say, and it's not even like I'm disagreeing with you. It's just I want to put this caveat out there.
Sure.
There is a horseshoe theory of people who say money isn't real. Mm-hmm. Because there are people who are like, what you're saying is money isn't real. We should manipulate it in order to, produce the best possible outcomes for the greater good. And then there's people who say money isn't real. The Jews are controlling everything. And I just want to put the caveat out there that we are of the former camp.
Well, usually when I hear those folks, they're like gold standard folks. Okay. Is that what you're saying? Because like those folks that say money isn't real and it's the Jews controlling it all, they are like gold standard folks. Oh, we need to return it back to which is dumb because it limits the amount of money that can be borrowed and infuses the economy. I don't know, but. Yeah, also I don't know if any of you guys are there with money, but there's also the money isn't real folks who believe money shouldn't exist. And I'm not quite there yet. Like to be like a real Marxist, you got to be on board with the moneyless society thing. And listen, if someone could show me a way that a moneyless society could work, I'd be on board. I think it could exist, but a modern society, I'd have a hard time understanding. Money's just so efficient. Right? Like, that's why it's there. Like,
it's Tom actually put a very good little pithy quote. And by the way, Tom Kopp, thanks for coming to the show. You've been fucking killing it in the comments section. But he said money is a measurement. And that is the most accurate way to define money. And that's why, like, I was always like, Marx wasn't really cooking with that one because it's like, it's just a measurement of value. Like, you need some measurement of these things. Unless we have some quantum powered AI that can, like, measure things without the need for money. Like, we don't have the technology to not have money. We need to be able to measure some exchange of values of different services. Like barter economy ain't going to work. Like the technology is conceivably possible. That money won't exist, but not in my lifetime. At least I don't know. Probably not in my lifetime.
Yeah, like the limits of human achievement are not limited to my imagination. I understand that. But I just have a hard time grasping like how you would build an airplane on a barter economy. How does that work? Like, how could that possibly happen? Human beings have done like money hasn't existed most of the time, and people still had businesses, and the pyramids were built without money. So I get it, but I mean, it's just in the year of our Lord 2024, when everything is so specific and so so specialized, I have a hard time imagining how you do this without an efficient exchange item. I just don't know. I mean, if I'm a fisherman, how many fish am I going to use to buy a computer versus buying a couch? I don't know. I don't understand how this works. But once again, that doesn't mean the system can't exist. I'm not trying to say that. I'm just saying that I'm going to need to see this work out somehow.
There's a really good book you can read on this called The History of Debt. It's a rather long book. Most of the people who start reading it don't finish it.
Hey, that's most books I own.
Yeah. So, but it's written by an anthropologist as opposed to an economist who actually explains like how all of these things worked, because like there really never was any such thing as a barter economy. Because at the end of the day, like that's just capitalism. Like there's no need for you to catch 500 fish so that you can trade those fish like for something else. Like that's literally just capitalism. You're catching way the fuck more fish than you need to be able to buy something with that. So like what many economies did, what many moneyless like societies did, was it was just like a favor system, or it was just essentially like, hey, like we need to build houses, let's build houses. It wasn't like, you know, okay, like I'm gonna give you like all these rocks that I have over here that I know you like to play with, and you build me a house. It was just like, yeah, we're just going to build this because it's cool. It's the right thing to do. It'll help everybody out. But what was that? There's something else I wanted to point out too. Oh yeah, 1835. That is the only time that the United States did not have a deficit. Yeah, during Andrew Jackson's presidency, 1830. It was also fucking disastrous for the economy. like we were like, nah, fuck this. We need debt. like, yeah. And
show me a successful private entity that exists without debt. Show it to me, because it doesn't exist. Like there's not a single fucking Fortune 500 company that doesn't have a shitload of debt, because debt is valuable, because you need the money now to be able to make more money in the future. And people pretend that this isn't the case when it comes to the government for some reason.
Listen, I knew someone would say this. Kyle would say we had a surplus under Clinton. I think EK's talking about national debt, not national deficit. So I figured that's what because I remember that. This happened a couple times where we had a budget surplus or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. We kind of ran off track with that. I didn't mean to go that far down. I was going to say more about it. Man, we can't spend the entire time on that. We're almost at an hour going on here. Want to wrap up anything? Any predictions on? Are we going to have a government shutdown at the end of the year? Do you guys think it's going to happen? John thinks it's going to happen. EK?
I think this year has the best chance of it happening than any other year. Yeah.
It's kind of like playing with house money for Republicans in a way. That if the government shut down, they can blame it on Biden, I think.
But they can't. They can't. Because the American people, Biden's gone. He's lame duck.
Yeah, that's true. They might
try.
Yeah, that's true.
The President Musk allegations are fucking sticking. I'm telling you.
I love the President Musk thing. That's great.
That I've seen from the Democrats since the fucking Waltz pick. Like, it's the first thing I've been like, yes, you're doing it right. You should call the bluff on the debt ceiling, and I'm pissed you're not doing it. But the President Musk thing, brilliant.
The President Musk thing is pretty great, and people talking about that. And I don't know, we'll see what's going to happen here. But let's go on. What do we got on AOC there?
By the way, TJ, we called that from day one. We've been calling this strategy for a while now of just let the kaijus fight. Essentially, the fucking post. The post-election show, I'm pretty sure I said, like, our best chance is that the rich fucking mega egotistical assholes eat each other alive and don't eat us. They're a little bit full and don't eat us too much. Like that's our best chance to get through these next couple of years.
It's a decent chance because like Musk and Trump cannot coexist. No. They are not going to be able to work together for long. It's not going to happen. Their egos are too big to work in the same administration. And that's why, once again, good job by the Democrats. Don't say it too often, but pushing that to the public and saying it every day. Trump is a vain, egotistical man. He's not going to let that stand. He would get rid of Musk just for that, just so people would stop saying that. He's not going to put up with that. Yeah. Okay. I was looking at the comments here. MMT just explains how the monetary system actually works. I didn't know that. And what did Mark say here? That's not accurate. It makes claims about how the government can act, including spending without inflation concern. What is this nerd shit? Okay, let's go. Okay. Oh boy, yeah, God, yeah. What kind of show you guys think this is? All right, you had something about AOC you want to talk about, John? What was the topic here?
Yes, so AOC, and honestly, like this story kind of just instantly took a back seat to the debt, to the government spending and shutdown story, which kind of sucks for AOC. But essentially, AOC wanted to be my mouse died. Wanted to be the chair of the House Oversight Committee, right? And Nancy Pelosi, our good friend of the show, Nancy Pelosi, she comes out of the woodwork and says, "No, I don't want that. I want Gary Connolly, a 74-year-old cancer patient, to be." You would think that maybe that was a joke. No, he literally has cancer. That he's going to be the chair, and he ended up winning. The ranking Democrats won, and their only explanation for why this guy, who none of us have ever heard of, should be in this very important role was, well, he has the seniority. And it boils my blood, TJ. It boils my blood to hear the people that are supposed to be fighting for the people are talking about fucking seniority as if that goddamn matters. Like there are like an army of fucking liberal moderates who are like, oh, all you leftists do is criticize the Democratic Party. Like, yeah, they do so many good things, yada, yada, yada. It's like, yeah, but they don't actually fucking care about winning. And this is the most obvious example I can point to as to why. They aren't even trying to make the argument that him in this position is going to be better for the government, going to be better for people, going to be better to help them fight Republicans and Donald Trump. No, the only reasoning they have for this is, yeah, no, he has seniority. And it pisses me off. Seniority is a dumb fucking thing. If anyone gets anything because of seniority, that's just fucking stupid. Like I'm I'm totally for the earn what you get fucking playbook here. And seniority doesn't get you shit. It shouldn't get you shit in a competitive fucking environment, which is what we should be in the most high stakes game in the world. But Democrats keep playing by the same old rules. EK, what I'm sure you were following this story. What were your thoughts as it was happening?
I think they just don't like AOC. At the end of the day, it's like there is a noticeable difference between 2024 AOC and 2018 AOC. Mm-hmm. Like, lots of people on further left don't even like AOC anymore. Like and she's done like everything. She's bent the knee, she's kissed the ring, she has capitulated, she has done everything possible like to get back in Nancy Pelosi's good graces, to show everybody that she's a team player. She's taken positions that like her general base doesn't want her to take and everything. And at the end of the day, they still don't like her. They still will do anything they possibly can to give her the middle finger and say, no, this is not going to be the party. Like, I think that's just what it is. Like, also, like, Democrats are incapable of learning a lesson. Like, they could be a box that chops off everybody's right hand, and they will just continue to put right hands in that box for the end of fucking time. Because, like, well, this time it's going to work because of this. Like, no, dude. Like, you tried that fucking 15 hands ago, it didn't work. Why is it going to work now? Well, it's a little bit different now. Like, they're incapable of learning lessons. They don't actually fuck with like the progressive wing like they want to. Like Nancy, they fuck with the Nancy Pelosi progressive, where you can be a multi-millionaire and they fuck with you, but like anybody that's actually populist, they don't want them in any position of authority. They don't want them to have any type of power. So they're just going to continue shooting themselves in the foot.
Yeah, I think that's primarily it. There's a club of people they like. Oh, you mentioned how Nancy Pelosi was against AOC getting this chair position of the House Oversight Committee. You guys know, like, Nancy Pelosi is not the House Minority Leader, right?
No, she's not.
She's not, right? Like, isn't that weird? Isn't that strange? Like,
but
yeah, she's
which should piss fucking Hakeem Jeffries off. Like if Hakeem Jeffries wanted to pull his dick out and say, no, I'm the House Minority Leader, he could have done it, but he's like, nah, I'm gonna go with Nancy here.
Yeah, it's like, Nancy, why'd you give me the job if you're still doing? Because like the Democrats would have been, but isn't she running again? Or she ran again. She ran again. This time she won, so she's still in her seat. Isn't she 83 or 84? Yeah,
she's older than Biden, or at least
she's older than Biden. But
she was having fucking hip surgery while this whole thing was being orchestrated.
Let's not disparage people with hip surgeries. But so there were
PJ, it sounded personal.
But she was having grandma hip surgery while this whole thing.
This was grandma hip surgery. It wasn't big, strong, good boy. Fucking hip surgery.
For those who don't know, I had both my hips replaced like 3 years ago or something like that. So no, but yeah. So Nancy Pelosi, she could still be the House Minority Leader. She's still popular with donors, especially, and then with the people But I mean, she got all the votes. That vote was a massacre. I don't remember what the votes were, but it was not close. AOC got like 20% of the available votes and lost to 80%. So if she said, well, I'm going to step away and I'm going to let Hakeem Jeffries, like the person I've been grooming for all these years, take my spot. Why not just let him actually take the spot? And why? Like, John, you mentioned the seniority thing. The Democrats there's a lot of reasons the Democrats are cooked. The number one reason I think they're cooked is that they keep letting Donald Trump get all these easy fucking wins, just easy wins, like with TikTok or with what were we talking about, abolishing the debt ceiling, stuff that we should have been fighting for, but we're too afraid to. Honestly, like, guys, too much I want to say here. I want to talk about the leftward swing of the party and the seniority thing. So with the seniority thing first, EK said that we are afraid of telling people they're too old. And the biggest example of this is what happened with Joe Biden last year, that, hey, man, you're 81 and not a good 81. Like Bernie Sanders and Nancy Pelosi, both older than Joe Biden, both sound 25 years younger. Like if they were in the seat, it'd have been perfectly fine. But Joe Biden just happened to fall apart a lot earlier. This burned us with Barbara. What's her name in California?
California lady, yeah.
Stein.
Dianne Feinstein.
Dianne Feinstein. Thank you. Yeah, Dianne Feinstein. And Ruth Bader Ginsburg really burned us on that one, where people were like, hey, you're kind of old. Do you want to keep doing this job? No, we're going to. And you're a bigot for even suggesting that this happened. So I think we have to stop this whole respect to the gerontocracy. Like, we need to move forward. Think of how the Republicans treat their all-stars, which are, Jesus Christ, their all-stars are like Marjorie Taylor Greene, or Matt Gaetz if he hadn't have had that whole crime with the sex trafficking thing, he would still be one of their brightest lights. They shove those people to the forefront. They allow them to take the lead and craft policy and be the voices of the party. The Democrats do the exact opposite. They say, oh, we need, AOC and Ro Khanna, Rashida Tlaib. How about you guys pipe down a little bit, wait your turn, and then you might be able to say something. And they're afraid of getting McGoverned. I was some episode we were talking about a long time ago, me and you, John, about McGovern. It's been 50 years since McGovern, and they're still afraid of a left-wing side of the party and that we're going to get our asses kicked if we run someone who's a popular.
They're still afraid because they're all still there, TJ. All the same people who are there. Still here now.
Yeah, that's a good point. I saw it with my own eyes, me boy. I saw George McGovern get his ass kicked, and it's not going to happen on my watch. So I don't know. It's like this albatross around their neck that they're afraid of young people with new ideas to put a fresh, infusion of new blood into the party, and they're gonna keep. That's what I'm saying. That's why I don't have a lot of hope for the Democrats in the near future, that they're gonna keep getting their asses kicked and just hope the Republicans do worse, which has worked out well for them so far.
And it's not even just the fear of young people. It is self-serving greed. And that is all it is. Because, listen, one of the biggest critiques that was being launched at AOC is that she supported primary challengers to incumbent House Democrats. Let me tell you something, TJ. In like an actual fucking meritocratic fucking competition, which fucking politics is, you should want the best competitors. Like I don't even understand how that can be thrown as a critique and not laughed out of the goddamn room. Like, are you telling, like, if you're telling me, if this was a fucking, I don't know, I wrestle, right? So that's my competition. I do jujitsu. And it's like someone was like, hey, I don't like how he invited those high-level athletes to the competition. That was really fucked up of him. It's like, no, that's the whole fucking point of what we do here. We want to fight the best to prove ourselves. And if we can't be that, we know we need to get better. But for some reason, the Democrats look at that like, oh, well, we have to get rid of all of the competition in order for ourselves to win. And it's such a fucking loser mentality. And that's why they get their asses kicked over and over and over again. And you know what? For a long time, Republicans played the same game. Republicans played the same exact game most of my life, probably most of your life, where they did the same thing with the seniority, all this. And since Trump, they've stopped doing that. And it's winning because, of course, it is. The best, most effective communicators are going to get the positions of power in the Republican Party. In the Democratic Party, that is not the case. And you wonder why the Republican Party is so much better at messaging now and so much better at getting popular support for their shit-ass ideas. It's because they're putting the right people in positions of power. It's not that fucking complicated. If you keep like trying to hold your fucking seat, go fuck yourself. The country is more important than you. I don't care if you're a Republican. I don't care if you're a Democrat. Get the fuck out of my government and fucking sit there and prove that you're better in a goddamn election. That's it. Like it makes no sense to me that should even be warranted as a critique and not laughed out of the room. And the fact that it isn't is as much condemnation of the fucking Democratic Party that I need.
Yeah.
What do you think, EK?
Yeah. So one, I think, especially at this point, it is impossible to change the Democratic Party from within. Like, they are either going to change you or they're going to do everything they possibly can to subvert you. Like you talked about, not supporting primary or doing primaries against established Democrats. But like the Democratic Party had absolutely zero problem with that this year with Cori Bush and
weird how that doesn't get talked about in the same light, right?
Yeah. They had no problem with a foreign fucking government dropping like tens of millions of dollars onto those two races to get those two people
most ever, EK.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's like they're either going to get rid of you or they're going to do everything within their power to sideline you and like basically like oust you and put you on the outskirts. Like even if you're popular, like AOC, extremely fucking populist. Like she well outperforms Kamala Harris, well outperformed several other Democrats. Like if you look at her district versus everyone else, and they still just like, nope. Fuck that girl. We don't care about her at all. Fuck her. We're not doing anything with her. Whether you look on the Democrats aren't even willing to use shame and like public outcry and rage against like people in their own party who are preventing them from getting stuff done. Like a great example of this is like the whole Pete Hegseth thing with Donald Trump and them wanting to appoint him, and then all of these negative stories come out about him and it looks like he's not going to get there. But no, like they attacked like everybody within the party who was talking about not voting against them. There was that one woman, I forget what her name was, that like had some extreme issues with the guy. And like they told her, we're going to do a primary against you. They ran ads against her specifically. Like they went on just a huge attack against her, and she capitulated and she went like, hey, you know what? Actually he's fine. You guys can like appoint him. Like I have no problem with it. And the guy's not even fucking president right now. Meanwhile, the fucking Build Back Better plan, you had fucking Joe Manchin and Sinema, like who were just like, no, we're not going to move on that. And there was, looks like we just can't pass it, guys. We're so weak. We can't do anything. That's the way government works. No, fuck that, dude. Tell the people, hey, we can't get you this shit that you want, that you need, that we know that you want and need, because these two motherfuckers are getting in the way of that shit. Like, and we're going to do like, you know what? There's an election coming up next year. If you want to vote, for somebody else, like in the primary against this person, because this person doesn't have to run next year, then fucking we will endorse whoever else. They don't do that. Like they just like, looks like I have to follow these rules. Meanwhile, the other side is bending and breaking and rewriting the whole goddamn system. So like, dude, fucking like either be in government or fucking change your goddamn party assignment to Republican and let a real fucking like Democrat or somebody who's actually on the left fucking run.
Yo, EK, what you just said about Kirsten Sinema and Joe Manchin. So specifically, this applies to Sinema because I will admit that with Manchin, it's a lot trickier because let's say Donald Trump had some landmark policy, like some bill that he had been preaching about with a shitty name, like Build Back Better. He's like, okay, we're going to put it out there. People are going to vote for it. This is going to be my legacy, like my first 100 days. I want to get this done and everything. And he gets out there and there's one lone Republican. He's like, fuck that. Now, it was to never happen, of course. But it was like, but if one lone Republican said, no, I'm going against the president on this. I don't think this is right. I'm going to stand up to him. Not going to happen. How would Donald Trump handle that? Donald Trump would be on TV every day. Every interview, Congressman or Senator X from this state is a traitor. He's a rhino. I'm going to use everything within my power, fair and unfair, to get him out of that seat as soon as I can. He is withholding the progress of not only the Republican Party, but the American people. We should all turn our ire against him, a pox upon him and his children. Trump would be on this guy campaigning against him every fucking day because Trump would know, listen, if the bill passes, right, the president gets all the credit. They don't give credit to the senators. They don't give it credit to the committee chairs. It goes to the president. So if the bill doesn't pass, the blame also goes to the president. This is something that Democrats haven't seemed to figure out because, EK, you're right. When you say, well, Biden didn't get past it, well, what did you want him to do? You had these senators. No, your job as president, they call it the bully pulpit. It's literally, they call it the bully pulpit.
Biden refused to use the bully pulpit. And it really pissed me off whenever I brought this up. Like, what are you going to do? Like, he has levers of power that exist beyond just legislative ability. Like they're pretending like the most powerful man in the world is a fucking piñata.
Yeah. It's like, do you have influence and power or not? Because if you don't have the influence and power to get that vote, that's on you too. That's still on you. That's one of the reasons we put you there. Also, when Biden, he was in the Senate, the reason he was vice president is because he was in the Senate. He's supposed to have connections within the Senate. That doesn't make him Superman, of course. But if Joe Biden went out there and did that stuff, I would be like, okay, look, it looked like Biden did everything he could. It looked like he actually tried on this and they didn't budge. You can't make them vote the way you want. But I never got the impression that Biden was really putting the screws to people. Kind of like how they say behind the scenes, Biden's really giving it to Netanyahu. You don't see it, but trust me, it's happening backstage. Now, with Sinema, that should have been happening unquestionably all the time. Manchin's a little trickier because if you do try to take down Manchin, he's almost certainly going to be replaced with a Republican, which might come back to
TJ. He's going to fucking retire. As soon as he said that, it should have been fucking gloves off. Because he's going to be replaced by a Republican anyway. But that makes fuck him over.
I get, but that just makes him stronger, though, right? Because now you have no leverage at all. But he's like, okay, trash me all you want. What does it matter? I'm not running for re-election. I don't know. It's just that he
set an example. You
set an example for others.
Of him. What would again? It's not that Donald Trump is a good person or sets forth good policies, but one thing he does do, which is very effective, is he wields power against his fucking enemies. He will set an example, whether he cares about this particular issue or not. He'll set an example, and I know that Democrats fucking understand this because Eric Adams is parading fucking Luigi around the streets of fucking New York City with a fucking armed entourage as we speak. They understand setting an example. Yeah, they only want to set an example of people who are what they really seem to see.
John, when you said that he should really go at it, make it hurt for Joe Manchin. One thing I thought of, this is years and years ago, but I remember watching Kyle Kalinske talk about this, and Kyle Kalinske brought up the fact that if you can't force Joe Manchin out because of his protected seat, he's a very important seat in the Senate. He's like, go after his family, go gangster on it. And Kyle Kalinske brought up the fact that Joe Manchin's daughter is the CEO of some sort of pharmaceutical organization. He's like, yeah, Joe, be a real shame if bunch of government funding was taken away from your daughter's child. Like, really, go after it.
Why not?
Why not? Exactly. You're willing to fuck over hundreds of millions of Americans. I'm going to take money from your daughter's job. Yeah, absolutely. I'll do that. So, yeah, once again, like you said, John, do you think Trump would hesitate to do something like that? And of course he would. Yeah.
Not a fucking doubt in my mind.
That may be his first actually go. He may skip the whole, policy and procedure shit and just go straight gangster on it. But I don't know. So, EK, do you think that? Oh, so you don't think there's any chance? You said you don't think there's any chance of changing the Democrats from within. Like, you think that's a lost cause or just lost for the near future? Because I think that's the only thing we can do. I don't think a third party is going to get us anywhere.
Like, I mean, I haven't seen it. Like, I haven't seen, like, I mean, you could argue that Clinton changed the Democratic Party from within, but like, he only got president or only got elected because friggin' Ross Perot run. Like Ross Perot also against NAFTA. Just want to throw that out there. But like, the only person. Actually, no, he didn't change the party. Like, I was gonna say, Bernie Sanders been around for forever. He's got like a huge following around him, but like, he didn't change the party. Like, there are people within the party, like, on the progressive side, on the more left wing side, that occasionally get some stuff through. Like, I've said several times, like, not everything Biden did was bad. Biden did get a few like important pieces of legislation passed. But overall, it's still rather centrist, like pretty much like a carbon copy of a Republican, and with just like a few scribbles and cutouts here and there to make it like slightly different. Like, I don't see any candidate, like, without there being like a huge cultural swing, realignment of people. Like, I just don't see it happening. I mean, if you look at like Obama 2012, like, and you had all of those Tea Party Republicans come through, because like they primaried their own people.
Yep.
Like, they got through a whole different class of Republican, that was willing to do whatever. Like, but that takes money. There's like a ton of funding like that Republicans can get for just about anything. Like, the Democratic Party needs a shit ton of grassroots, because nobody's going to fund like some of the more like left wing things. Like, okay, we're actually going to tax rich people more. We're actually going to pay for these extra services. We're actually, going to affect, these companies and, like these rich people's bottom line. Like, that's very hard to get funding for. Like, you are going to get outspent, and it's going to be, a situation like what happened with Cory Booker, where like your candidate or your competition has like double, triple, quadruple like your amount of spending power. I just like, if there's too much money within the party that wants to keep it the way it is for it to ever be changed. I don't see how like anybody comes along and makes that change.
So EK, I agree with you that I don't see how. However, I also didn't see how Donald Trump could win the presidency of the United States. The things that change like, you can't predict it. And all you have to do is kind of just keep chipping away at the block. And in this case, to tie it back to AOC, honestly, I don't understand why she's even going for House Oversight Committee. She could, fry some bigger fish here. Like, I think that this should be okay. You're right. The internal dynamics of playing the party and like being a good little girl and like doing what the party wants, it's not being rewarded. So I need to go full on, straight up. Hold on. I'm pausing this right now. New Evangelicals just texted me and he said, you were just on the screen at America Fest. I need to know why.
Oh no!
That just completely sidetracked.
Jesus Christ! Oh no!
But hold on. Anyway, yeah, like it needs to now be militant. Like, you need to do what Joe Manchin does, and say, no, I'm going to tank this. And be willing to pick your battles on those things, but you need to be able to build up the power to do so. If there's only a couple of you, it's not going to work. But if there's a solid block of you that can actually swing things, then you suddenly have the power to change things from within. And that block has it got a little bit smaller this year, but like in the large trajectory of things, it is getting bigger. And I think that we are going to see a lot more primaries and challenges be successful because people are so fucking fed up with losing, and that's it.
If they take the Tea Party Republican route, I think there's a chance if there's enough people. But like I said, there's so much capital that is going towards like maintaining the status quo and keeping, the people like in power that aren't actually going to change anything, like where they are. It's gonna be a struggle. Regardless, it's gonna be a much more difficult time on the Democratic side than the Republicans had it.
Yeah. There's I don't think that like a left-wing Tea Party can like exist. I just don't. It's like the Tea Party just it had so many built-in roads for acceptance by your average person or something, and it's hard for the left to do that. It's just, I mean, the left could do it, I guess, with labor. Like that would be the only way, but the labor movement is so small and so weak in the United States of America. You know what? The only way it would work is like if Trump did it. I mean, that's like we need like a cult figure to follow. Otherwise, it's just going to fall apart because Republicans pretend that they like labor, but they vote against it all the time, and the people don't seem to catch it. I don't know, but
labor and healthcare. Those are the two things. Labor and healthcare, that could win if you can make your message just those two things, and like. When they talk about some like random like fucking culture war issue, you just respond with, okay, I mean that's affecting what 2% of the population. I would much rather talk about how I'm gonna make things better for everyone instead of this one little niche case, and just fucking go on. Like don't get roped into everything else. Just like, hey, look, I'm here to do this and specifically this. Don't give people any extra ammunition. Like, yo, this is what I'm here for. Like, what do you think about this? And like, dude, I'm just here for this. This is what I want. That's kind of what Trump did.
Well, you know what would happen then, EK? You know what would happen then? Then we would go after. Then we'd have the circular firing squads going on here. Where it's like, oh, so you don't think this issue was important? You already know. There'd be a significant number of leftists saying it's very problematic that you're not talking about issue X and issue Y, and you're being a class reductionist or something. I saw Stephen Fry say something, and I didn't see the whole speech. I only saw this clip, but. So I'm not, endorsing everything he said, but he was talking about the British left, and he was talking about why the left has lost so much ground over the years. So John and I talked about that on Tuesday. We were at light speed 10 years ago, and then things just started falling apart. And he brought up something that's kind of true, is that the problem with us on the left is that we would rather be right than be effective. Yeah. Like we're really in love with being correct. We're really in love with like, oh, this is true. It's absolutely right. Yeah, that's all right, but we still have to win. Being right. Human evolution in general does not do anything to prioritize the truth. It doesn't. Like something being real and being correct, there's no evolutionary advantage to that. The evolutionary advantage is, does this work? Does this actually work? So, like our brains were trained to believe that when something looks complex, that a person made it. So if you can't see the person, then it must be an invisible person. That worked for us. That worked. It's not real, but it works. And so, yeah, we have to kind of figure that out. But I don't know. We got to move on. The show's moving on pretty quick here. Anything else you want to add on that, John?
No, just that that is a problem both in politics and in a lot of our personal lives, I'm sure.
God damn!
Can't tell you how many times I've heard that one from like my mom.
Yeah, it is frustrating. It's not easy being us. Speaking of, that reminds me of that song a while ago. It's not easy being me, but it's like about being Superman or something. But did you guys see the trailer for the new Superman film coming out?
Yeah, I did.
Looks good. I am, at least I thought it looked good. And I gotta say, I like that. For the biggest, this won't be a movie review show, I swear, but the biggest mistake that I think we all know now that Zack Snyder made with Man of Steel is that he tried to make Superman like Batman. Batman being frowning 90% of the movie and being grumpy, that works for Batman. That's his character. And Batman was such a big hit that I will make Superman like that. No one wants angry Superman. That's horrible. That's not something fun to watch. And so this Superman film there with the bright colors and the happiness and the smiling, I was like, God, I hope this movie is good. I really need it right now. Like, I actually really need to see a happy film with an iconic smiling Superman. That's gonna lift my spirits for 90 minutes. And shout out James Gunn. Hopefully it takes off. I didn't see Crypto the Super Dog. That in the trailer, that was stunning. I was surprised, but you know what? I like it still. I think it could be good.
Nick Holt as Lex Luthor is an A+ home run of a casting. Sarah Bronson as Lois Lane, also A+, a home run of a casting. I don't know the guy playing Superman that well, but like Superman's kind of a hard role to fuck up. Like kind of like
apparently
Batman.
not. Apparently not.
Well, no, but like the actors. So except for Superman Returns, like fucking Henry Cavill killed the role.
Oh, Henry Cavill, yeah, that's right.
Like, he's a great Superman. Yeah. The whole movie sucked around.
The movie sucked, yeah.
But the actor, like, it's not that complex of a role to play. So, like, you can put in basically, it's just like Batman. Like, you don't need a fucking killer in there for Batman. You need a killer actor for the villain.
Yeah,
you know, everyone around him needs support. He's a Goku. It's a character who it's a flat character, and the story revolves around how they change the lives of everyone around them. And so, like, you don't need a killer actor to play that role.
True. What do you think, EK? Did you see the commercial?
Yeah, I saw it. Like it looks like I am looking forward to a James Gunn Superman. I don't think Zack Snyder should ever be allowed. Okay, Zack Snyder is phenomenal at taking an existing property like that already has like all of his own lore and just and turning that into, if you write something really cool and you want somebody to make that shit look cool on the screen, call Zack Snyder. Like, if you want somebody to write something really cool and put that shit on the screen, do not call Zack Snyder.
I might be out on my own here. I did like the Snyder Cut Justice League, like the 6-hour one or whatever. I did like that.
It was superior.
The stuff. Yeah.
It's
not good. It just makes sense when you watch the movie now. Okay, got you.
Yeah.
This is why. Got you. All right.
It felt more like a mini series. It even had chapters, and so it felt more like a mini series. But I enjoyed. Maybe that's true. Maybe I just liked it so much more than the one that came out before. I was like, oh, okay, maybe I overestimated it. But yeah. All right. So we're gonna spend the last half hour of the show going into. I mean, we didn't think of a name for these. Our end of the year awards, the lefties or whatever. I don't know,
but we should probably thought of a name. But I'll go with the lefties.
The lefties, yeah. So we're gonna
change the name of the podcast.
Who knows? Yeah,
in 2024, it's the lefties.
I was thinking. So John and I were talking about changing the name of the podcast, and huge ass, constant listener of the show, came up with a great one with the Counter Power podcast and stuff. That name only works if it's just the two of us, though. If we had a third person, then it throws off the name. So I don't know what to think.
That's true. We can never expand. That's
God, but it's so good, though. I mean, it might just stick, whatever. Yeah. But all right, which category do we want to go with first? We got Tweet of the Year, Best Trump. You know what? I got one. I'm going to start with Best Trump Quote. EK, were you able, I know you got these kind of last minute. Were you able to scramble some of these together?
I didn't. Did I see that? Hold on.
Oh no! Did I not send that to you?
I sent it to you, EK.
I was like, damn, EK's just been winging it this whole entire time. He had no idea what
I saw the topics was there. Shoot. I saw the left, but I don't think I saw a link to the.
It's not a link. Hang on. It was just like, hey, look over some good ideas for these or whatever. But so I'll start off with favorite Trump quote. That's what I wanted to go with.
Okay, I see it. Never mind. I did receive this. I didn't want to. I didn't receive them. I just didn't pay enough attention to them.
For anyone confused right now, EK is a last minute fill-in. We had another guest. We had to reschedule. So EK's really just doing his best here.
Yeah, we appreciate it. So one of our favorite things, John and I, is talking about Trump quotes because I will go to my grave saying this. Donald Trump is a funny fucking dude. He's funny. A lot of people say that he's not, or that, he's unintentionally funny. Donald Trump is great when it comes to comedy. And I will say this. I've never heard someone who's funny say that Donald Trump isn't funny, because I'm funny. I can do this. Like I can craft a joke. A lot of people, I say they don't have a humorous bone in their body. Well, they do, the humorous in your arm, but outside of the actual humorous bone, they don't have a funny bone in their body. But I wanted to point out my favorite Trump quote, and this is from honestly a couple months ago, I think. So as you guys may have heard, there was an assassination attempt on Donald Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania. So Donald Trump showed back up to Butler, which, gotta say, balls. I don't know if I would have done that. I may have felt like kind of weirded out showing back up to Butler. So when the shooter took a shot at Donald Trump, he was pointing at this big chart in the background. So that's when, the bullets started firing down, and then Trump was rushed off the stage. So when Trump went back to Pennsylvania, this is how he started his speech.
As I was saying,
listen. Getting shot while making a presentation, coming back to the stage months later and starting the presentation with, as I was saying, is comedy fucking gold. I don't care who you are. I don't care how much you like Donald Trump. That is amazing. That is by far my favorite Donald Trump quote, because what are you supposed to do with that? That's if you don't think that's funny, you're lying. You're lying. You just hate Trump so much, and trust me, I hate the guy too. But you can both understand that a guy is a cancerous blot on society, and he's skilled at comedy, because that's great right there. That's great. As I was saying,
I agree.
Gold.
I completely agree with that. I do have my own quote, but I do want to comment on what you just said. The if you can't admit he's funny, then you've lost the plot, because yes. I guarantee you I probably hate him more than you do. I guarantee you I've spent a lot more time in my goddamn life talking, thinking, researching, and fucking making content about this fucking monster of a man. I hate him more than you do. I probably see him as more dangerous than you do, but that's fucking funny.
It's funny.
You gotta call a spade a spade. Funny's funny. That's brilliant. That's so
as
good.
I was saying, so good, man. Like I mean, I've never had this happen to me. I've never been shot at during a speech before, but man, it's so good too, because like, when are you going to use that? As I was saying, never mind. All right, it's so good. All right, John, what do you think?
So my favorite Trump quote, and it's just the one that's going to stick of everything he said this year. The thing he said that was the biggest thing. They're eating the cats.
Oh my God! Oh Jesus!
I was thinking about this, and I was like, it seems like I'm just like betting on chalk here. But the thing is, it's a brilliant quote, because it again, just such great comedic timing. Because those in the know in that moment of like, hey, this is the viral thing going on in the moment. We were all going like, I wonder if he's going to mention the dogs and cats.
Yeah, we were all thinking.
And then not only does he do it, but he does it in the funniest way possible. And it went viral like nothing else. Out of the entire campaign cycle, I would challenge you to say a single thing that was heard more than they're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs. Like it's going to be played forever.
Let's pull it up here. There we go.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country. And
this is a president. This is going to be a president again. Look, I've entered into just like fucking like nihilistic laughter about the whole thing, because it's like, you know what? We're just going to have to strap in, and at least we get shit like this.
What's wild? That was the moment that I was like, oh, thank God, it's all over. It's all over. After seeing that, like that horrendously unhinged, racist, insane thing, it's like, okay, if everything else hadn't convinced the American people that this guy shouldn't be president, this definitely will. It didn't. It didn't. People saw that and they're like, whatever. Yeah. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. I don't care. Like, that was a dark moment, man. But they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cat. Even he said it with like a weird New York accent. The dogs, they're eating the cats. Like, it's just like
it sounded like your weird grandfather telling you about the things he keeps hearing on Fox News. It sounded exactly like that.
Yeah, even when they said, like right after he said that, the moderator said, well, just so you know, we called the mayor and they said that there's no reports of this whatsoever. And he gave the Fox News grandpa answers. Like, I saw it on TV. The man on TV said it. So what are you talking about? I was like, Who gives a fuck? What guy on TV? What are you saying?
I'm a guy on TV right now.
Yeah, this is like an infinite loop right here. The guy on TV, which is you right now. And it's like, okay, well, there's no evidence for it. Well, I heard that there was. And like, that's what it's like talking to a Republican. It's just like that. I heard someone say it, so you must be wrong. And didn't frighten the people at all. Didn't frighten them. They're like, it's good to go. That's a good one. EK, you got a Trump quote that you thought of your time.
Maybe. So I do want to say one of my favorite Onion articles from 2016 was, man says that's it. He's never going to get elected now for the 15th time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you just did an Onion article, TJ.
Yeah. It's like there's an even older one where it says, I'd like to see old Donnie wiggle his way out of this one. And it's like, then Donnie does exactly that. Nevertheless, it's just like, it's
but I'd have to say from the same
I think EK's about to take my nomination for favorite debate moment, but go ahead, EK.
yeah, from the debate, concepts of a plan. That is that would be my favorite Trump quote of the year. Concepts of a plan.
So EK, that was going to be my favorite debate moment nomination, and we might as well just tail this into this one because it's getting double nominated here. But concepts of a plan was so good in the debate, not just because of the how dumb it is, but the timing. If you had scripted that and shot it and like actually had that be a thing that was in like a comedy movie, it would have been exactly the same. It was so brilliant. It was, do you have a plan? No. Yeah, well, do you have a plan? No, I have concepts of a plan. Like, I'll quote that for the rest of my life. For the rest of my life, I will quote that. And it was so brilliant. So I do like that. It was my runner-up for best quote, and that's why I nominated it for best debate moment.
All right, let's I think I've got it here in the debate.
President Trump, you have long vowed to repeal and replace the Affordable Care Act.
If we come up with something, we're going to do it, and we're going to replace it.
You still do not have a plan.
I have concepts of a plan. There are concepts and options we have to do that.
You have no plan.
He said it again, by the way. Did you guys hear that? Like a couple weeks ago, he's like,
I was right about to go there. I was right about to go there. He said, they asked him again. It was on a Face the Nation interview. And they asked Trump about the concepts of a plan thing. And I was right about to mention this because, so I am I might be in the minority here. When, you know how people talk about when he said the Proud Boys, stand back and stand by. And they said, oh, that was Trump's call out to the Proud, and the Proud Boys took it that way. I honestly think Trump just tripped over his words. I really do. I don't think he meant to say stand back and stand by because he wasn't planning on addressing the Proud Boys, right? Like they brought it up first and they asked about white supremacist groups. And he said, well, name one for me and I'll denounce them. And he says, well, will you tell the Proud Boys to stand down? And he says, well, the Proud Boys stand, and he kind of like muffled his B because he was like, stand back and stand by, because I don't think he meant to say it, but it was taken that way. And then, but he didn't back down from it. He stuck with it. He kept saying it. He did the same thing with concepts of a plan because there's no fucking way that they coached him to say concepts of a plan. No chance
to take an L. He just will never take an L in his entire life, and it has worked for him thus far. I can no longer say that it's a bad strategy for him.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the concepts of a plan was a flub. It was a mistake, but he can't admit it. So when he was asked about it again, it was I'm trying to find. I thought it was a Face the Nation interview, but they asked him about this healthcare stuff, and they said, "So you said that you had concept of a plan. Do you have a plan?" He says, "I have concepts of a plan." He said it again.
I think he said, "I have more concepts of a plan."
Yeah, he says like we have lots of doctors, we have lots of nurses, we have lots of healthcare professionals, and we'll get something together. And when we have something, we'll present it to the American people. And like you said, he refuses to take the L. Remember that time he drew the extra part of a hurricane over another state?
Yep.
Yes. Just because he said that, yeah, the hurricane's hitting Florida, it's hitting Alabama, and they said, well, actually, it's not hitting Alabama or whatever. And he's like, yes, it is. Here we go. Most normal people would have said, oh, I made a mistake. I added Alabama next. No, none of us would have given Trump shit about that, right? Oh, he said the incorrect state. It was just a mistake. He's human. But no, there's nothing too small for him to just pass over. So that was kind of wild. What do I have here? Best debate moment. John, can you stall for me? Because I have a good debate moment here.
Yeah, well, I already said my debate moment, but I will say I always recommend this series called the Alt-Right Playbook. It's a YouTube series.
Oh, it's good.
If you haven't watched it before. But one of the things that they talk about in there is that how they always play offense, never play defense. That is the alt-right fascist fucking playbook. And it's exactly what Donald Trump does to great success. And we're just clowning it, but it is a very effective alt-right fascist strategy because all they care about is strength. And if you play defense, if you admit mistake, then you're less strong. And you just have to always play offense because it also puts your opponent in a state of always having to play defense. So that's exactly what he's doing. I kind of agree with you that I don't think he meant to say that. I don't think he I think he does kind of get the always play offense thing, but I think it's actually just a natural fucking, it's both he understands it works as a strategy and it's just innately part
just
of
who he is.
Yeah, it's just who he is. That he's wrong. I think he has understood that it's strategically beneficial, but I think he would still do it even if it wasn't.
I agree. I think that's just who he is. That's his nature. And I was thinking about Trump today, as I will for the rest of my life, unfortunately, and that Donald Trump and how we've often said how his superpower is the fact that he has no shame, that he's not embarrassed about anything. And well, if he is, it doesn't matter because he's always attacking. It's kind of like in that series, which John mentioned, which is great, by the way, the alt-right playbook. There's an example they use in there where you're arguing with someone online and they'll say something ridiculous. The earth is flat and we all know it. And that's what their post will be. And you'll put 4 paragraphs explaining why that's incorrect. And they're like, oh, shut up, nerd. That's not right. Everyone knows the earth is flat. And you put 4 more paragraphs. Now to you, you're like, well, I'm correct. I'm winning here. To people looking at that, the other person's winning. The other person is like, oh, he's dismissing it or he's attacking one thing you say. And the more you explain, you're playing defense and they're playing offense. It's why they kind of win on this. And with Donald Trump, what's he saying about Donald Trump and his always playing offense thing? That's just how he rolls. I forgot a point with that, but I can't remember. But anyway, here's
you hate when you have a great point.
I had a good point.
It's the worst part of doing what we do.
About,
too many great points in here, TJ.
No, right? Yeah, something about Donald Trump. But anyway, here is the my vote for best debate moment. I didn't specify which debate, but this is the one that I thought of. This is the Republican, the useless fucking Republican.
Was this even in 2024? Are you cheating here?
Oh, I thought this was this year. Hold on.
This might have been in 2023, but I'll let it slide.
When was this? It was November last year. God damn it. Well, all right. Well,
we're gonna show it anyway.
Showing it anyway. Here we go. So
Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, got a $5 million bribe from Ukraine. That's why we're sending $200 billion back to that same country. The fact of the matter is the Republican Party is not that much better. You have the likes of Nikki Haley, who stepped down from her time at the UN. Bankrupt or in debt was her family. Then she becomes a military contractor. She joins the board of Boeing and otherwise, and is now a multimillionaire. So I think that that's wrong when Republicans do it or Democrats do it. That's the choice we face. Do you want a leader from a different generation who's going to put this country first? Or do you want Dick Cheney in 3-inch heels?
All right, Mr.
In which case, we've got 2 of them on stage tonight.
Ramaswamy, thank you.
So that quote was amazing. The Dick Cheney in 3-inch heels was great. But the best part of it was unfortunately stepped on by the audience laughing. And so EK and John know what I'm talking about. But after he said he was talking with Nikki Haley the whole time, once again, this is funny. We need more funny Democrats, okay? We need more Democrats that can tell a good joke because he killed it with that one. He said, so he's talking Nikki Haley and how she sold out to, the military industrial complex. And he says, do you want someone new who's going to change all this? Or do you want Dick Cheney in 3-inch heels? And then he said, in which case we have 2 of them on stage tonight because he was also referring to Ron DeSantis, who got him. It's like who supposedly had been wearing lifts to make himself look taller on stage. So it was a double burn. The second one was actually funnier, but it's unfortunate that I didn't make it. But that was my vote for best debate moment.
That was a good one.
That was a good one. If only it was in this year.
If only, yeah, you know,
It's so funny you picked a moment from a different year.
It's so I thought it was early this year, but god damn it, that was good. That was just so good. It's been there for a long time, but yeah, that was that was fantastic. All right, what other categories we got?
EK, did you have a favorite debate
Oh
moment?
yeah, sorry, EK.
No, I don't have one.
Okay, so my debate moment is gonna win by default.
Because that
met this criteria. Okay. So category. TJ, something I learned in this process, I'm going to like be keeping track. Like we should decide what the categories are going to be like next month. That way we can keep track of them. Because I was just trying to did this happen?
Yeah, I know.
Did this happened in 24? I also discovered a lot of things happened in 24 that I couldn't fucking believe. And we're going to get to a couple of them later. But what is the next category that you want to go for?
We have favorite right-wing influencer and favorite left-wing influencer.
Which one you want to start with?
So my favorite left-wing influencer is,
present company included, obviously.
Of course. Like no one on the show, or not me and John, you know. But my favorite one is going to be the Majority Report with Sam Seder. I think that if you guys don't watch the Majority Report, it has been the most consistent and even keel left-wing show that I've watched over the years. And like Sam and Emma and Michael Brooks used to be on the show, and if everyone here knows who Michael Brooks is, I'm positive. Like it's just, if I already didn't believe in God, the fact that Michael Brooks is dead and Ben Shapiro and Benny Johnson are still alive, that's all the evidence I need that there's no God, or we have an evil, malicious, malevolent God that wants to see us suffer. But Michael Brooks used to co-host the Majority Report. It was an excellent show then, it's an excellent show now. But Sam Seder Sam Seder isn't as far left as we are, but his analysis is always spot on. His and Emma as well. And you don't agree with them all the time, but they never took the bait of being liberals and saying, okay, well, we're right wingers now, which is happening a lot more these days. It's happening a lot of that, and we all know what I'm talking about. It's going on a lot more these days. So I've been watching them for a long time, and I never have to worry about them selling out for money. A lot of people said who know Sam Seder that, oh yeah, if Sam Seder was going to sell out for money, he would have done it a long time ago. And Sam Seder's been on like Patrick Bet David. He went on Tim Pool. He goes on right wing shows. He's a great debater. Look up his content about debating libertarians. It's some of the best thing you'll ever see. Watching Sam Seder, he kept debating the. Like a yearly tradition he had for a long time was debating the nominee that libertarians would pick for president. Like every 2 years, every 4 years, he would do this. And it just exposed how childish of a philosophy of libertarianism is. So mine was pretty easy that it was Sam Seder. I think he's a fantastic at his job.
Cool. EK, do you have a nominee?
I'm going to say the Bad Faith podcast with Brianna Gray Joy. Or Brianna Joy Gray.
Brianna Joy Gray.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So like she was Bernie Sanders' press secretary. It was, I think, when she was when he was running for president. But it's basically like if you take Pod Save and make it actually left, I think that would be like what a good description of her show is. Like she has like tons of different guests on that like debate, or not debate, but talk about like whatever the current events are, like from a more like left-leaning perspective. Like she like this particular year, she was like, fuck the Democrats, I'm going third party. She made her own Green Party apparel. Like she made her own like Vote Green hat and shit like that. She's also, for people who don't know, she's the architect behind the can you tell me what woke is quote. I don't know if you saw the viral clip like from The Hill where like the woman who wrote the book about wokeism couldn't define wokeism. She's the one that asked that question. Yeah, it's like her podcast is a good time. She's on YouTube as well. Like I listen to her like every week. She will have people on that you wouldn't actually like expect to be on. And she has access to people like the Pod Save people do. Like she has access to like the journalists and everybody, or the people that are like actually like in sort of like the throes of power, but it's not from the whole like liberal perspective. It's more of a left-leaning perspective of it.
Yeah, no, I like her, but then she has just takes that I'm just like, come on. Like she is not afraid to be wrong. That is something that I can say is a compliment and an insult. But I do think that she generally is a good influence. My nominees, I had a couple like I thought about this one a lot, and I was like Mehdi Hassan. I've really liked Mehdi Hassan, especially his reporting on Palestine. I've liked Taylor Lawrence. But I think my left wing guy of the year is Ken Klippenstein.
He's good.
Klippenstein is, straight up thoroughbred journalist. He's not a content creator like some of the people that we've said, but he does create content. And what he did this year, I thought was really special because he left The Intercept, and The Intercept is in and of itself, a fairly left wing media publication. And he left because that they were forcing him to do stories, forcing him to cover things because of their owners that he didn't like. So he left. He made his own Substack, and he's the guy that released Luigi's Manifesto when the entire media apparatus was saying, no, we're not going to release it. I think this guy has balls. I think that this is the year that he really made himself his own, and I'm very excited to see where he goes. So that would be my my nominee for left-wing creator. Kyle says, really no love for Nick Powers. Kyle, as we said, guests of the show are not up for this nomination. They are all above. Every single guest on our show is better than every single person we just nominated, and every single person we just nominated can get above them if they come on the show for 2025. We'd love to have you.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. I was trying to find this video with Brianna Joy Gray and Robbie Suave on Rising. I couldn't remember what it was something about like the Civil War or something, or Gaza. They were talking about something like that. It was a really good one because I like seeing the fights between. So Robbie Suave, he's like a libertarian, and back when Brianna Joy Gray was on Rising, they would have fights all the time. Some of them got really, really, antagonistic. I don't know how anyone could work with a guy like that. It was awful, but I couldn't find it. That's too bad. So, John, 825. Okay, all right. So, favorite left or right wing influencer. So mine was pretty easy too. That is Beanie Boy himself, Tim Pool. I don't know how I could have given it to anyone else because Tim Pool has done something. What he does is not unique, and what he has been doing in that one thing conservatives love doing, both conservative, media personalities and conservatives in real life, is say they're not conservative. They'll say, well, actually, I'm a centrist. I'm a sensible moderate. I'm a former liberal, and the Dems have just gone way too far and they're crazy. So I'm just looking at it from both sides, being really fair here, and then just spout the most absurd right-wing rhetoric you've ever heard. Tim Pool has mastered that. And he does so without being particularly entertaining. I get why people watch Ben Shapiro. His voice is annoying, but I can see how they could do that. I get why people watch Joe Rogan. Tim Pool, I don't really understand it. And then I found out that he's taken millions of dollars in Russian money. So, okay, that helps. That helps out a lot. Now the Russian money is dried up since it's been exposed. And I was trying to find an article. Did I hear this correctly today that he's selling his outfit to Daily Wire? Did you guys hear about that?
I have not heard this.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure about that. And so, look, Tim Pool, respect the hustle. Like, I may not respect the man, but that's actually what I was saying about Donald Trump. And I remember now what I was going to say about Trump earlier is that I do have to give it up for Trump that the guy is rich. He didn't, like when Republicans say he didn't have to do this, he didn't. He gets out of bed every morning. He puts on that fucking cartoon character blue suit that he wears every day. And he goes out, he makes speeches, he does public appearances, he goes on podcasts. He puts in the work. Like, you can call Donald Trump a lot of things. You can't call him lazy, because I gotta tell you, if I had a shitload of money like that, I don't know if I'd want to get out of bed every day and do this every fucking day in different states. And he's always on the phone. I mean, look, at 80 years old, I got to give him credit for that. Like, I give him credit for getting out there and, like, you know, putting in the work to go on the stuff. So Tim Pool, he's not as rich as Trump or anything like that, and he's not nearly as entertaining. But I got to get over Tim Pool. He's a hustler through and through, and he's made it. So tip of the cap.
All right, EK, who's your favorite right-wing content creator of the year?
Not that I watch many, or no. If I had to pick somebody, I would probably say Theo Von.
Interesting.
Like, I think he's more representative of an actual conservative. Like, obviously, a conservative with like a very huge megaphone, but I think he's more representative of like that particular base that continuously turns out Republican, like, but isn't necessarily, but is still like anti-populist or not or anti-establishment, and like, you know, still cares about actual normal regular people.
Yeah,
so it's like having some insight into that particular mindset, I think, is valuable.
I think that's a good solid nomination, because that is the type of Republican that got Donald Trump elected in 2024.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Like,
yeah.
If you were to still, because I was thinking of saying Joe Rogan for that reason of like, this is the year Joe Rogan really became a right-wing content creator. Like, he was kind of just a content creator who happened to be right for a while. This is the year he just like went full blown. But I'm going to nominate, partially because of how much it would piss him off to be primarily known as a content creator, even though that is the primary thing that this man does. One, Elon Musk.
Oh, good.
That is the thing that Elon Musk spends. Elon Musk spends more time creating content on social media than I do.
Yep.
I looked through, TJ. I was like trying to look for a tweet from like a couple months ago, and I was like, I don't know. I might not be able to find it. And I was scrolling down. Okay, where do I think I am now? I'm going to see if I'm in November yet, at least. I was on yesterday, TJ. I was on yesterday. I could not believe it. This man is a prolific tweeter.
Wow.
Not good. Nothing's good. I've never seen him actually say something that I was like, that's good.
True.
It's just sheer volume. And it not only sheer volume, but the most effective. He just content created his way into a government shutdown. I've never seen any content creator ever wield that much power through pure content creation. I got to give it to him. He is the content creator of the year.
That's a good point, John, in that he is a all quantity, no quality poster. He's like the worst. I mean, all of his posts they're either laughing emojis or odd thinking emojis, like the monocle or something, or concerning, looking into it, or today is like, oh, we got, or cringy shit like like today he posted, oh look, we've rejected the bill, Vox Populi, Vox Day, or something. Get the fuck out of here. It's just like you gotta be.
It was Vox DEI.
Yeah, Vox Day. Yeah, it's like so if you like. So for the Republicans out there, Vox Populi, Vox Day, it means voice of the people is the voice of God. Now, if you want to use Latin, you got to be really fucking cool. You got to be cool and you got to be funny. Elon Musk is neither. So he sounds like a nerd. He sounds like a dweeb out there posting in Latin and shit. But I've never seen an Elon Musk tweet. Like, he's the anti-Trump. Like, I've never seen an Elon Musk tweet that was clever, interesting, or funny. And that's just, he wants so much to be liked, and he has nothing in him. But all right, that's our last topic here, since we're running out of time here. Tweet of the year. Now, my tweet of the year is from an account that I actually don't even know who this person is or why I follow them. But I saw this tweet in, let me check, February of this year. Okay, February of this year. And I thought it was really good. It was talking about King Charles visiting Ireland, and people are saying a lot of stuff they say now about how, well, you know, it's not fair to criticize people before the sins of their fathers, you know, that just because I'm the descendant of people who did bad things doesn't mean I should, which is true. But in the case of King Charles, this was a great quote that I saw. So it's like someone says, King Charles shouldn't be blamed for the things his ancestors did. This is what the Irish responded when the king visited them in 1911. We will not blame him for the crimes of his ancestors if he relinquishes the royal rights of his ancestors, but as long as he claims their rights by virtue of descent, then by virtue of descent, he must shoulder the responsibility for those crimes. I love that. I thought that was amazing because it's so fucking good because you can't have it both ways. You can't be like, yeah, I'm going to benefit from this. And you'll see this a lot in American history, where American history, they'll say, look, it's why you got to focus on the past so much. Why do you got to focus on all the bad things? And then turn around and say, I am proud to be an American. We have a glorious past and an amazing heritage that I wear on my sleeve. The bad stuff, no, that's not fair. Don't talk about that. You can't have both ways, folks. You're going to brag about the past. You need to talk about the horrible stuff in the past too. So that was my favorite tweet.
That is that. I didn't realize that was from this year, but yeah, that sounds like one that's just in the lexicon now. You know, like it's like I remember that one. I remember having the same reaction because it is the perfect enunciation of that point where it's like people say like with like fucking like race all the time. It's like, oh, why should like DEI exist, right? It's like, well, because you didn't do slavery, you didn't do Jim Crow, you didn't do these things, but like you do benefit from them. And so it's not hurting you to return it to the level that it should be. Like that's you have benefited. We're taking away your benefits. You can't claim that it wasn't you.
Yeah.
You're benefiting from it and don't want those benefits taken away.
Hard agree. EK, you probably didn't have time to find a tweet probably because I had to dig through a lot to find my favorite tweet.
The one that has made me laugh the most recently and brought me the most amount of pleasure recently is definitely I don't know who tweeted it or whatever, but it's definitely the video of the monument that was left over to Brian Thompson, like on that fateful sidewalk where he was gunned down, which was the balloon that had the little star on it that said CEO down.
Yeah, that was great. That was great.
CEO down.
That was great.
All right, so I had a couple because I was like going through it, and I just want to give some credit to a couple guys here. I know we are running out of time. But here we go. So shit, can I just share my entire screen? Yes. Thank you. So I had this one. First of all, this isn't even political. I just wanted to mention it. Where the hell did it go? Fuck me. I had it. Never mind. Oh, this one. This tweet.
Okay, right as I moved it. Okay, hold on.
Not political. I must have watched this like 10 million times. It's one of just things where you're just like, this is outstanding. And I watched this probably more than any tweet this year. Not political, just want to give it a credit.
What was it? I couldn't tell what it was.
Oh, could you not? Is it not sharing?
I see it. It's like a lady looking up at like a falling star. So, okay. It just wasn't big enough. To read what it said.
It's not really, it's just it's the video. So this is when that comet landed.
Okay.
And she just happened to capture this on video.
Oh yeah, that is cool. That is cool. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. Woo, that's awesome.
And I must have watched that 10 million times.
Yeah.
It's like one of those things that just like make you want like gasp in wonder of the fucking miracle of life.
Yes.
But this one made me think a lot. And the guy says, and I couldn't find the original tweet, but the guy wakes up, where am I? You're in the trolley problem. I thought I'd be operating the lever. No, that's someone else. And it's such a brilliant tweet because I always thought I'd be the one operating the trolley problem, but it turns out most of us are the ones on the fucking tracks.
Yep.
And it really just shows, hey, you're probably going to be the one run over. You are not the main character of this story. Donald Trump is.
It's like when you tell people problems with work and everything that we should unionize, we should give more power to the workers. Their minds immediately go to, well, what about the owner? You will not be the fucking owner, okay? That's not you. Why are you worried about that? Why are you worried about this tiny? Yeah, they always think about the upper class and how they need to protect the robber barons and shit. Now, all right, I know we're running late on the show here. Who cares? But it's like this is our last show. Let's go here. But I had a tweet that I wanted to put out, but it was a video, so I thought John would give me shit about it, and so I decided to go with something else. But the one that
I thought John would give me shit about a video, not a tweet. Not the thing from 2023.
Well, I didn't
think
know
John
it was
would give me shit
2023.
about
I
that.
thought it was 2024. So, all right, this one is I don't know if you guys saw this, but this is a video that Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s wife put out. It was right after the election, maybe a week or two after the election. And apparently, so for those of you who don't know, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is married to actress Cheryl Hines. You will probably recognize her face if you don't know the name. She played Larry David's wife. Yeah. And you'll know from other stuff too, because I recognized her during that show when it was on. Oh, I know that actress. But I remember she had to release one time. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. said that people who don't get the COVID vaccines are being treated like the Jews during the Holocaust. And then she released a statement the next day saying, just so you know, Bobby's views are all his own and not mine, and covering up for that. So, but she's still with him. She's still with him. That was like a year and a half or 2.5 years ago. She's still with him. Anyway, she posted, apparently, not only does she work in acting, but she also has like a side business selling beauty products or something. And she did a commercial for it. And just here you go. If you haven't seen it, check this out.
You can't take a shower. I'm doing a video. No, you got to give me a second. I'm doing a video for Heinz and Young. Okay, honey, the 60% off.
Okay, so the video she did just there was her hawking her products with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. taking a shower in the background. Like this is seriously a couple weeks after the election. He had just been announced that he was going to be the head of Health and Human Services. Why? I saw this and I was just looking and said, she doesn't need to do this. She's already rich. She already has a successful career.
Grift, TJ. Grifter's going grift.
But this is things like, look. First I was thinking, well, why does she have a side job selling beauty products anyway? But look, maybe that's her actual passion. Maybe acting wasn't her passion. She just happened to be good at it. But her real passion is selling beauty products. Fine. But what the hell happened to dignity? I hate to sound like old man TJ here, but like dignity and gravitas used to be an actual thing. That's something that people on our level would do, right? That's something we would do to catch attention. Like, oh, don't mind my spouse in the background showering there. Just be sure to like, share, and subscribe.
That's a great point because it's not something I do, but it's something I think of doing. And I'm like, nah, I'm not going to go to those levels.
Exactly. It's
I'm not gonna sell out like that.
It's beneath us. And she is like a rich, successful actress. She's married to someone who's going to be working in the top echelons of federal government. And she's hawking beauty products with her face covering her husband's dong in the background. I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. It kind of lives in my brain rent free, which I guess was her whole goal in the first place. It worked, but not for the reason she wants. Like I was like, I feel like actually with Mad Men, where that guy's talking to Don Draper and he says, Don, I feel sorry for you. And Don's like, I don't think about you at all. That's what's going on right now with me and Cheryl Hines. But that's the video that I wanted to put for Tweet of the Year. But that was so weird. Did you guys see that before?
No, I just wonder how much of Curb Your Enthusiasm came from like random shit that was Larry David just like watching the interactions between Cheryl Hines and RFK. Like, oh,
yo, I like that. I like that theory. I like that theory.
People thought I was fucking nuts. Oh my god.
He's just following them around with a notepad all day. On this episode, he's gonna tie a whale carcass to the van. And so yeah, that's I like that theory. I like that.
It's like the whole hiatus, just Larry David going, "Oh, hold up. Let me just follow these two around for a few years. There's so much more material."
I love this theory. I love it so much. All right. Any other notes to wrap up? Good show, boys. What do you think?
Just for our viewers, thank you very much for joining us along this journey in 2024. It's the year that TJ it became me and TJ's show. And I think we've taken it to good places, TJ.
Pretty good. I like it.
See where we go in 2025. Kyle, I hope that's the year that you find yourself a good man at your local gay bar or running club. But
nice.
Thank you guys so much for watching this show. We will be on break and we will be returning in the year of 2025. If you'd like to see our excellent guest, EK Powell. EK, how about you tell people where they can find you?
You can find me What's Good English. I am on YouTube. I'm on TikTok for however long TikTok will be around. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Blue Sky as well. I don't know. I was never good at Twitter. Probably not going to be good at that app, but I made an account just in case. Yeah, look for me in one of those places.
Good stuff. We appreciate it, EK. We appreciate everyone. We really want to throw a shout out to everyone who's been watching the show all this time. Our guests, who we got Huge Ass, Red Scare Claire, Ben the Socialist Jew, Heather. We got Mark, Fake Mark. I mean, everyone who's been watching us all this time. Kyle, of course. Yeah, you guys have been great. We appreciate you. We can't wait till next year. Catch you guys later.